I'm David from Levika Photography, and today I bring you another interesting light panel. And this one is dirt cheap, and now this is hands down my favorite panel. I mean, this thing is just awesome. So let's go ahead and take a look at it and see what we can find out about this thing. Now, this is a recent discovery for me, and I am just enamored with this thing. So I just figured I'd tell you guys about it because for 40 bucks, this thing is just amazing. And I'll get into why it's amazing here in a second. But really quick, let's go over the panel. It comes with a knuckle, similar to the one that's on the hot shoe right now. And it comes with an AC power adapter, so that way you can actually plug into the wall. It does not come with this battery. This is one of my batteries, but this is the standard Sony NP550 battery, and it'll take any standard Sony style NP battery. So really very cool. It is ultralight, ultra thin. This sits nicely on top of the camera, and it's really an interview light. It's not that bright at all, just to give you an idea. So let me just crank this up here to 100%, and you can see it's not like overwhelming, but it is an incredibly soft light. And I'm really not sure why this light is so soft, but we're going to take a closer look at it here in just a second. But really quick, to give you an idea of how this compares, this is the aperture, no, this is the flash point. This is the flash point FLP CL 198B. So this is the flash point that changes colors. And they're, you know, it's bigger than that, but way thinner. I mean, way thinner. And then this was the other one that I kind of got hooked on a little bit, was a little pergier light. Now, the whole thing about these lights is that when it comes to shooting people and product, the main thing is color balance. And while these flash points were actually pretty good, you know, this is an old design. These things have been around for like 5 years now, so probably getting a little worn out. The pergiers, these are okay, but the air switch kind of drives you crazy after a while. Even though it is very handy when you're actually shooting and you want to turn it off really quick, you can, but the air switch kind of drives me nuts a little bit. So anyway, the main thing about this panel that separates it from the others is this is hands down the most color accurate panel I have ever seen. Whether it's big or little or expensive or cheap, hands down, this is like, the crazy thing is, let me just roll some footage here of me testing this just to kind of give you an idea of what it's like. I just wanted to make a quick little video review about the T1688 light right here versus the Aperture, where's my thumb at? Versus the Aperture 198C light over here. And a lot of people think that they're about the same power, but they're not. I mean, this is actually on its highest setting, and it matches the power of this light on its lowest setting. But this is really kind of an interview light that's supposed to be mounted on the camera, if you're able to picture it on here, kind of like that. Anyway, it's meant for shooting really close, but the thing I wanted to let you guys know about this was that this thing has phenomenal color accuracy. So let me just zoom into the back of the screen here so you can kind of see what's going on. This is the OMD EM1 Mark II, and look at the banding that we're having issues with the frequency coming off of the aperture light, the 198C on the right, and yeah, serious banding. More about this light. So what I wanted to do was change this white balance so you can see how accurate this actually is. Let me just crank this all the way up to 6200K. Let me do the same thing to this one here at 6200. So now they're both at the same setting. Now if I come back here and change my white balance setting on the OMD 6200, then you'll notice right off the bat that the color temperature of the T1688 is absolutely perfect, and the aperture light is running actually slightly warm. And you don't really see that like when you're looking up at it, But on the back of the screen, since this is calibrated directly to 6200K and the white balance is very accurate on the OMD M1R2, it just kind of shows you that the issue is there. And this is actually the most color accurate little LCD panel I have seen yet. So there you have it. It's not like really bright. It doesn't come in a fancy box. It doesn't need to. I mean, this thing is just crazy. But let me turn this off here. And let me bring this in as close as I possibly can. And I'm probably going to have to darken my shutter here so you can see what we got. There we go. Alright, so what you're seeing is this tight little mesh grid setup. And kind of a crazy looking little grid. And this has something to do with the color accuracy of the light spread. I'm really not sure what it is. So anyway, normally I don't do this, but because this has so much diffusion in it, I want to take this apart and see what makes it tick. So let's go ahead and do that. Before we lift off the front, we'll just turn the switch on and off really quick, just to discharge anything if there's anything still in there. Well, this is definitely very interesting. So I got this top off, and it looks like it's these LED bars that are just kind of tucked in here, and it looks like they're just wired on the ends. And then this looks like a very heavy-duty piece of acrylic. So that actually is not a diffusion layer like I thought. This is like this weird aluminum kind of backed plate with acrylic on it, and the LEDs are only shining on the sides. Huh. So let me see if I can get this up here where you can see it. So this is what it looks like on the inside of this thing. And yeah, it's just like these weird little strips of LEDs. So no, you cannot get it to go any brighter than it actually is because of this. And it's so bizarre. I mean, if you can just see that edge, it's like clear acrylic with this kind of aluminum mesh grid on the inside of it. Very unusual. So I guess we cannot tear this thing apart to make it any brighter, but it is very interesting how it works. Fits together like a snap type model. Let me crank my shutter speed all the way up here so that way you can kind of see. Now there, you can see the LEDs shining in on the sides of this. So it's not a very bright video light, but what it is good for having it mounted on the camera and actually being in people's faces, or if you do product photography and you want to build some consistent lighting. I use LED lighting primarily for product photography, and this is going to be like a godsend because it's so color accurate. It will match every light that I have, so very cool. Alright, right now I've got this light set to 5800K, which is pretty close to my background. I'm 3 feet away and I'm running it at half power, so the light emission is actually pretty good. It's very soft. The light is already diffused. There's nothing you need to do to it. But the thing that's amazing about this is the color rendering index rating. And what I mean by that is that when you buy a bulb, an LED bulb, it has a color rendering index rating. It doesn't say that it's accurate. That's the whole thing. They tell you the spectrum that it's going to be covering from 3200 to 6200K as far as the light band goes, but it doesn't actually tell you how accurate the color it's going to be rendering whatever it's illuminating. So a perfect example is I shoot artwork, a lot of artwork. At Method Art we do artist support, so we shoot paintings for artists. So part of that is over the years I've discovered that there is one color in the digital spectrum that all cameras vomit on and all lighting seems to just not get close to. That's phthalo green. And phthalo green, when it's not mixed, is one of the hardest colors to shoot in the entire spectrum. So the more accurate your light is on that particular color, the more accurate your camera is going to be able to render that color. So really, it's just an amazing light. I just wish it was brighter. So anyway, I hope you guys like this review. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel for more information like this, and otherwise we'll talk to you guys later. See ya.